Welcome back to our farmhouse on our little country farm. My name is Elizabeth, and I love to share the everyday beauty in our farmhouse here in the country. It's been a busy time here around the farm. We have had such beautiful weather. It's been on and off. Some days it is below freezing and the wind is just hard to even handle. It is tough to go outside. And then other days it is 70 degrees outside and I am feeling like it is springtime and that we should be starting the garden. Although I know we should not just yet. After last year having tomato plants that were far too big and starting to bear fruit in our seed starting room, I know it is not quite time for that. However, I am so ready. So because of that, I needed to get my hands in the dirt. My daughter and I decided to start on some of our cold weather crops. We started purple cabbage and green cabbage, and a couple of cooler weather flowers and some lettuce. Some things that would grow well in the cooler spring temperatures that need to be started from seed early. Now, many of these things I have not grown from seed before. We grow cabbage. We grew cabbage really well last season, but I've never grown it from seed, and so I decided this year we were going to try that, and so far it's doing okay. I didn't get my lights set up quite in time, so my plants are a little leggy, but I'm hoping they will pull through now that I have lights set up, and we will be well on our way to a spring garden full of cabbage and greens and a few cooler weather flowers. We have known for a bit that we were going to restructure our barns. We have two barns on the property. One is right behind the house that my husband and I and my kids are living in currently. This is my childhood home, one of them. And one is over by my parents' house. We have had the goats, the rabbits, the chickens, all of them behind our house, and we have slowly moved them over to the barn beside my parents because that is a fenced-in pasture. We have started there fencing that in. So first we moved the goats, and we have a beef cow out there, and now we wanted to work on getting our chickens moved over. So we had actually started that this week. We wanted to put this in a section of that barn. There was already a floor, and so my dad had just been working to frame it in and close up the siding, and I am so thankful we did. One of the things that I'm working on is sprucing up this little country kitchen of mine. I would really like to get some scissors out of here first. I would really like to do a lot in here. I really like the way this kitchen is, except these are not real cabinets. They're not real, they're real cabinets. They're not real wood. And so there's some wear on them, especially under the sink where it gets wet, that really need sealed, and so I would love to paint them. I would love to get a different sink. And we have been slowly replacing appliances, but we are building another house, and so funds and time with 2 kids don't allow for such projects right now. But that doesn't mean I can't do a few small things. So one of the first things that we've been working on our appliances, because we could take that down to the new house. And the next thing, don't mind my ugly finger, I ripped part of my fingernail off. Anyway, it doesn't matter. One of the things is, I'll show you with this hand, replacing some of my hardware. I'm gonna do this today. I ordered these off Amazon, and just to kind of spruce it up, I've got a couple things that I would like to do in here that's cheaper. I also ordered some new lights, and so when those come in, here, the baby over there, when those come in, I will be putting those up in here just to help brighten it up a little bit. Let me go get a screwdriver. Oh, that's cute though. Now these little knobs are something that I would take down to the farmhouse and use either in the kitchen there or in the pantry. So again, just little things that we can use now and then take down to the farmhouse and use later. The kitchen down there will probably be white, so these will work perfectly. They will also match the pantry. Isn't it pretty?
Yeah, but I gotta do it one.
Part of the door will be trimmed out real nice. And the sides of the actual coop will be trimmed out real nice. With the loss that we had this week, first comes the life that was brought. We had the first one go into labor about 3 or 4 days before the rest. She had her babies. All went smoothly. We just woke up and they were out there and they were nursing and everybody was healthy. That was a Monday morning. The following Sunday, we were trying to get to church, and 2 of the other mamas were just very vocal and very loud, and one of them we could tell was probably in the early stages of labor. Before we knew it, and before our church even started, we were literally leaving for church. Before church started, she went from, we think she might be having babies, to we walked out and there was 1 already born. And so she delivered 3 babies. We had her separated into a stall just in case. We had a companion with her who was also very vocal, and we thought, well, she is just being a little rowdy because Loretta is having her babies and she can sense it. Loretta has her 3. We're, checking, making sure she's okay. And all of a sudden we look over and the 3rd mama that was in the stall was starting to go into labor and have her babies. And she was not quite as obvious. She just kind of got really loud. And then all of a sudden she was having contractions and pushing goats out. So it was all so exciting. I actually have videos of the goats being born, but I will not put those on the internet because it is quite something if you've ever witnessed it before. I did get some very special videos of our first set of baby goats born on the farm immediately after they were born, and so that's really exciting. What do you have to say about that, Hank? You're a daddy of 7. Yeah, I figured that's about what you had to say. I figured that was it. Now, unfortunately, this is where the loss starts. We had one of them that was born. When he was born, he was much, much smaller, so he was a runt. And then we noticed that his face didn't quite look the same as the others, and he immediately went to the wrong mama. And so because of that, we think that they both rejected him because they were confused on whose baby this was. We left him in there, and we witnessed him nursing a few times to his actual mama. And then one afternoon we went out. I checked on him a couple times that day. One afternoon we went out, and he was just lethargic, laying there on the brink of death. So we rushed him inside, syringe fed him milk, and he kind of popped out of it. And we thought, okay, he's just going to be a bottle baby. We'll get this taken care of and figured out, and he will be just fine, hopefully. He stayed in with us. Well, the second evening after that, we put him in his little pen, and the next morning he had passed. He was really struggling to get any kind of milk down. He was taking it through a syringe, but it wasn't much at all, and then it was kind of just going straight through him, so we just think he wasn't fully developed, and we feel that we did the best we could for this little guy, and he just had a very rough start and couldn't quite pull out of that. And so we buried him in the back, and sometimes that is just what happens. It was very easy this week for me to feel discouraged. We moved on and moved forward, and we had a couple other projects to be working on. Sooner than we had planned, we had to build a goat milking stand. My dad helped me, and by helped me, he built most of it. I was there to hold the screws and do little odds and end tasks when he needed it, but it was a very simple build. We did this whole project with just scrap wood that we already had. We first just built out a frame. We made it 3 feet by 4 feet. And then we added, I believe they were 16-inch legs on the back and 64-inch legs on the front.
Did you lose your cowboy boots? Did you lose your boots? I know, but you lost them off your feet.
We added some supports to hold in the actual neck corral, the stanchion part that clasps around their neck so that they can't get out. And then we shaped out those pieces for the neck hole and used a lag bolt to secure that where one side moves and the other does not. We added some rough cut planks on the top for the actual stand where the goat will be, and added a little latch to hold the pieces together. I think it turned out so great. It is the perfect size. I saw some skinnier ones on the internet, as you know, people have shared how they build theirs, and we opted to make mine a little bit wider, and I'm so glad we did.
What are you doing? Are you a goat?
Now, temporarily for this, he added a bucket onto the front to put the grain in, and we knew that was going to be temporary. Since then, he has built a little trough, a little wood trough out of the same rough cut wood, and even added a little sign on the front that we will soon be routing or painting our farm name on. I think it just is a nice little fun touch. I alluded earlier to the fact that I was so grateful that we had already started on this chicken coop, because our second loss of the week was that we had a coyote attack on our barn behind our house. That is where the chickens were, and we lost quite a few hens, unfortunately. And this was the point where I was starting to get really frustrated because it seemed everything was hitting at one time, and we lost several animals. And oh man, that'll make you question it. And I don't have a solution. I don't have a solution on how to handle loss on the farm other than if you have given your best attempt at taking care of your animals, you are doing whatever you've got to do to make sure they are healthy and safe. You're going to encounter it. You've got to just keep moving. And you learn things from all of the things that happen. You learn, oh, well, that was just a freak thing, or wish we had done this a little differently and that would have helped. All I can say is that I just encourage you to just keep moving. The chickens got moved over, and it is just a wonderful little setup for them. They are much happier. They have access to a huge pasture. It is just so much better for them, so much safer for them, and easier for us to manage. Thank you so much for joining me today in yet another video. I cannot wait to see you until next week. Thanks for stopping by.